up top, rising, layup, good. It's a triple-double for Bella Earl.
Goes matched up with a speedy guard. Great screen, spin move, layup, he missed it. Williamson fights for the board. His putback is good.
What's up, everybody? I hope can you hear me, Daryl? I know that's a bad intro, but
yes, I can hear you.
Welcome, everybody, to Climate Pledge Arena. Daryl's in good old Riverside, California. Glad to see that the power is back on in California, or at least in your area, neck of the woods, so you can join us tonight on the Straight Out WAC After Hours.
Yeah, for the time being, at least. We're still under a power advisory.
Nice.
But for right now, at least, we're still in line. I was able to get through the day of basketball, at least.
Good. I am here at Climate Pledge Arena. Just got done watching Abilene Christian and Seattle U. As you saw, Matthew Alexander Moncrief with the bucket with about 4 seconds left gives the Redhawks the 66-64 win over the Wildcats. Seattle U improves to 1-1 in WAC play. ACU is now 0-2. Both their games coming on the road. So kind of a wild day around the Western Athletic Conference. We appreciate those who are tuning in this late at night. I know that in Texas it is 11 o'clock at night. In the Mountain States, it is 10 o'clock at night. I'm here in the Emerald City, and it's 9 o'clock right now, so it's kind of early my time. Daryl's in the Pacific time zone, too, so it's early his time. I'm going to have a special guest jumping on here in a little bit whenever he comes out, but we'll get to that in a minute. Daryl, there was a pretty big performance that took place in Riverside today. But let's talk about that. Like, you give someone a lemon, they're going to make lemonade, and she made her lemonade today. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, Chloe Lemon sets the CBU record for made three-pointers in a game with 11 en route to 39 points and a 27-point win for the Lancers over Utah Valley. The 11 made threes also ties a WAC record dating back to 2013-14 from New Mexico State.
Yeah, 39 points, career high. I mean, that's just her second game of the season too. She shot pretty well against Seattle last week, and they didn't have Anania Tuua today either.
No, not at all. And just the offense kept flowing. Nook Bosch Duran, Claudia Field did a nice job of moving the ball, sharing it. But once Chloe Lemon got cooking, Utah Valley didn't have much of a chance.
That's the defending champs are shooting the ball well to start the season, so keep an eye on them. I mean, Utah Valley played well against ACU and shut down that ACU offense that we saw score 80, I think it was 88 points.
83.
Yeah, and they held them to what? It was like 60
55.
They held them to 55?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, crazy. What did Utah Valley hold ACU to on last week?
63.
Yeah, in that double overtime game. So that's a pretty stout defense that CBU just shot the lights out against. So very interesting there. We're going to have a special guest here in just a little bit. He's coming out. I don't know what he's doing right now, but whenever he's ready. And anyways, so on the other women's games, UT Arlington 3-0 in WAC play now after another win this time over Utah Tech, right?
Southern Utah,
excuse me. Sorry, guys. I'm mixed up. I didn't pay much attention. I was traveling, so I apologize about that. If you have any comments with us tonight.
And actually, the Lady Mavs trailed after a quarter in that one, but Sharika Wright's bunch got it going, and what was supposed to happen happened.
Yeah. Yep. Coy Love took over, and Avery Brittingham doing their thing, and Sharika Wright's team is very, very good. So
Nia Threet had her best game of the season with, I believe it was 14 points.
Yeah.
And it's just the struggle continues for Tracy Mason's bunch.
They just don't have the offense. That's what I feel like. They don't have the offense to keep up right now.
And in Stephenville, a surprisingly entertaining 3-point shootout broke out between Tarleton and Utah Tech, with the Texans getting above 500 in a 9-point win. Texans hit 12 threes, a high in the Bill Brock era. Nikki Van Wyck with 5 on her own to lead the way.
Gotta love what Bill Brock's team is doing, but you love those shootouts. I mean, those are fun. So, fun for the winners usually, but even then, it's still fun all around. So, what was it? The other women's game today? What was the other women? It was what was the other women's game? We talked about ACU, we talked about the Tarleton game, and we talked about UTR and CBU. So, yeah, I'm trying to think. Did a road team win today?
Nope, all 4 home teams swept.
Yeah, you got to win those home games in conference play. That's a big thing. I think
now AC
side, all the home teams on the men's side won too. So it was an 8-0 sweep for the home teams today.
And now ACU turns their attention to GCU next Thursday in a humdinger of a showdown in West Texas. GCU 0-2 outside the Mountain Time Zone. ACU has never beaten the Low in their.
That might be interesting.
And in that ACU 83-55 win, Bella Earl did cross the 1,000 career point threshold in her, I think it was like 104th game.
She has, I can't remember if she started every game, but I know she's played every game since stepping on campus a couple years ago. That is impressive. And she's been at ACU her entire basketball career. That's even more impressive. Man, what Bella Earl means to that program and Julie Goodenough, I mean, and what the standard she's kind of set for them. Super impressive. And her dad is awesome. I met him in Vegas last year, and he's a huge follower of ours.
Yeah.
He's awesome. So she's the second player this week to get the 1,000-point mark, right?
Yeah, Tiara Brown crossed the line on Thursday.
That means that's 3 because Alyssa Durazo Fresco passed too.
No, she was honored for passing the line.
Oh, okay. All right.
Durazo Frescas crossed the line on December 29th.
Okay.
In the NAU game.
Still, that's a lot of players within the 1,000-point club now. It's awesome to see. It's great to see.
And then lest we forget, Emily Isaacson set the Utah Tech 3-point record on Thursday.
Yep, 100%. She's been a mainstay at Utah Tech for a long time. She is a Box Elder High School alum. I'm a Box Elder High School alum too. So it's great to see the former B do big things for J.D. Gustin's team after a severe knee injury that cost her basically her season last year.
Yep.
Huge stuff. So, this Climate Pledge Arena, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty nice. I know it's where the Seattle Kraken and the Seattle Storm play their games. It's the old Key Arena. They redid the interior. And I've been really impressed. I mean, it's not an arena that Seattle's going to play a lot of games in because they're not going to sell it out, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful here. And the atmosphere tonight was pretty good. There was a lot of Red Hawk fans here on the Saturday night in Seattle, and very impressed with what I saw. Fun
it
ball
looked
game.
Like it.
Yeah, fun ball game. ACU got up to, I think it was a 10-point lead, 11-point lead. Midway I think it was late in the second half. Not late, but like midway
8
through
minutes, 9 minutes left.
Yeah, and then Seattle U used a 15-0 run to chip away at it. They had like 3 or 4 possessions where they didn't score points to take the lead, and then it just kind of clicked. And then it was back and forth the rest of the way. I mean, ACU got a steal with like 15 seconds left to tie the game, and then you see Matthew Alexander Moncrief with the layup with about 4 seconds left, and then ACU got a pretty good look at the end, and just couldn't knock it down. So. Really entertaining basketball game. This is why we love WAC hoops. And, I know it's late for everybody, so I know we're not going to get a ton of, views tonight. But, man, it's awesome to be here to see Daryl, with all that fire stuff going on in California. And, on the men's side.
It was a really entertaining day on the men's side. It was quite the humdinger.
Yeah. So we're going to go to the special guest first, Daryl. Since he's out here, I'm going to have him put on his headset. And I don't know if we can get him in the picture here. I think I'm going to take you out, Daryl, so we can get Chris in here real quick. Let me see if we can do this. Yeah, there we go. Seattle U head coach Chris Victor. Congrats on the win. It's good to see you too.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah. You guys were down by 10. Well, let's talk about the start of the second half.
11.
Let's talk about the start of the second half. 4 quick points. You call a quick timeout. You said to Russ after the game that you couldn't repeat what was said in there, but like what was kind of the thought in that timeout?
Yeah, just very frustrated with how we came out. You know, ACU came out the more physical team. They were playing harder. They were more aggressive, and just was not happy with that performance from our guys, especially to start in the first half. And so at halftime, that's all we talk about was just being more physical, more aggressive, smarter on the defensive end. And then we came out more flat in the second half than we did in the first half. So it wasn't a great halftime speech for me, apparently. Have to work on those. But, you know, proud of this team for down 11. Nothing was going our way. We were really struggling. They able to fight back and win a close game. It's our first close win of the year. We really needed to get one of these under our belt. So just proud of our guys for sticking to it, staying together, and figuring out a way to get it done.
John Christophilus knocked down a couple of 3-pointers during that run. How important is that for a guy to keep shooting, even though he's having maybe an off night, and knowing the kind of shooter that he is?
Yeah, that's why he's in there. When he's an opportunity, I thought he passed up a couple that I would have liked him to shoot that he didn't. But he's a great shooter, and when he's open, we want him to shoot it. And he knows that.
Was that final play, was it drawn up that way for Matthew Alexander Moncrief to go to the hole?
Yeah.
That guy's a beast. I'm not going to lie, Chris. He's a beast.
Yeah, he is.
Is that what you expected night in and night out? You're going to get double-doubles from that guy when you recruited him here?
We knew he had the potential. You know, he didn't have the opportunity lately to be in a role that was able to showcase his skills and his potential. But, you know, so we're so happy to have him on our team. Not only is he a great player, you call him a beast, I agree, great competitor, but he's an amazing teammate. And he has been awesome. He's been a leader for us. He's been our best player on the floor, almost, multiple games, if not all of them. And, at the end of that game, I was getting the ball in his hands. That was clear.
The atmosphere really nice tonight. I mean, you even said it out there, like you loved the crowd tonight. They were really invested in this ball game. I mean, that's what you love to see, right?
Yeah, we're lucky to play here. I mean, this is such a beautiful arena. It's one of the $1 billion arena, one of the best ones in the country. And to play here and have the Red Hawk fans out here, we're lucky. So we're grateful to have these opportunities at Climate Pledge.
Should the alley-oop dunk that Paris Dawson threw to Matthew Alexander Moncrief be in the mix for the WAC top play this week?
No question. Not a good angle. He was high.
He was really, and he had to pull back.
And it was a great pass from Paris. I think that's definitely. I haven't seen the rest of the games yet, but that one's got to be at least in the mix.
I have to ask one play, even though he missed the front end of the one-on-one. Will Heimbroth's offensive rebound in traffic.
Yep.
That kind of it got you guys the ball back, but it got him free throws too.
Yep.
Even though he missed it, that kind of was a play that just sticks out in my mind because he's in traffic and they had been pulling down some rebounds that maybe you guys should have gotten. How big of a play is that at that moment?
I thought Will made a couple of big plays. The charge he took that they didn't call.
The one with the elbow.
That they reviewed and then didn't call a flagrant
foul. They reviewed
foul,
for about 20 minutes out here.
And then didn't call a flagrant foul. That was a charge. And he took a charge. And in a moment like that for a freshman to literally stick your chin in there and take a charge was big. And then even the offensive rebound down here, I thought he had some big moments for us this game. And, he's been doing that all season. He comes in and makes some plays, and that rebound was impressive. I mean, that's an athletic game with some big boys out there. And for Will to go up and get that rebound that moment was great.
One last question for you. You talked about it when you first came on, getting a close win, finally kind of get over that hump. How big is that confidence-wise as you go forward now that you got 14 conference games left. You're playing to, WAC Vegas, and just the confidence that now we can win close games.
I think it's huge. I do. We've had so many this year that we've come out on the wrong side of, and it's, it's been a unique way to lose that we've found in these games. We've been up, we've been down, we've been tied. So to have this one, especially when we turned it over for a layup under our own basket, to come back and stay composed and finish it off that way was I think was big for us.
Awesome. Chris, thanks for taking the time tonight,
man.
Good
to see you, Kyle. Thanks for coming out.
Appreciate it. I was told I had to come to one game here at Climate Pledge.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Since you guys are leaving the WAC, to go to WCC, where honestly you belong, where Seattle U belongs. I had to make it up for this ball game, and I'm glad that I did, and it's a beautiful facility.
We should have some big ones here next year, too. We won't be in the WAC, but we'd love to have you down.
Okay. I might have to make another trip, I guess.
Awesome.
All right, Chris. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
All right, guys. That was Chris Victor, Seattle U head coach. You just saw him talk about the ball game tonight. Really one of their first close win. Their only close win of the season so far. They've had some close losses. So confidence building there. Like I said, great ball game tonight. 66-64 is your final. Seattle U gets the win. Daryl, it's awesome when, a coach comes on for a few minutes and, says, even though he's not going to be in the same conference, he's gonna come back for a game. So, like I said, beautiful facility here. It's awesome. The digital stuff, I don't know if people can see the digital stuff behind me. It's impressive. Like, it really is. Almost as impressive as my shaved head. I don't know. Nobody's commented on that yet. It's kind of shiny. But anyways, let's talk about a couple other men's games. Like you said, it was a barn burner of a day, right? It started off with Utah Valley and CBU basically going down to the final few possessions in that 75-69 win for Utah Valley to improve to 3-0 in WAC play. They'll play their first WAC road game on Thursday at UT Arlington. Speaking of UT Arlington, they lose 73-68 at Southern Utah tonight, and it was a 68-68 ball game, but Southern Utah hit some shots down the stretch and made foul shots. So UT Arlington is 0-3 to start WAC.
That's something I did not have on the bingo card.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. But, then again, they played at Tarleton, they played at Utah Tech, and they played at Southern Utah. And we've seen what Utah Tech has done, right? They just beat Tarleton today, 58-54. And for high school players, for anybody watching this, the pull-up jumper is a lost tool in basketball these days. I shouldn't say tool. It's a lost art in basketball.
Yes, absolutely.
John Riley showed us that it is a skill to be reckoned with by hitting that go-ahead bucket on the pull-up J against Tarleton there with about, I want to say it was about with 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
It's a lost art, Daryl. Like,
that was a great look out of the timeout, called timeout. And I thought Tarleton defended it pretty well too.
Yeah, they drew up a really nice play, and Beyond got loose. That's all it was. Beyond got loose, which doesn't happen a lot with Tarleton and the guards and the way they defend the perimeter. So, big win for John Judd. Here's the thing. Think about it. This second straight year that Utah Tech has started 2-0 in WAC play, and then they kind of slid off a little bit, over the rest of the season. They play at Utah Valley next Saturday, so I'm interested to see that game. I'll be there at the UCCU Center for that. But, so you have a.
But now they got to sustain it. It can't be like, it's like Dan Nielsen's bunch. The occasional good win or two, but they can't sustain it. You've got to be able to take that kind of a win and build on it or you're going to be playing in the burns in that 8-9 game.
Well, the good news is, so on Thursday, they made 15 3-pointers in that win over UT Arlington. Were 15 of 26 from 3-point range.
They only made like 4.
Tonight, they were 3 of 14, and they still found a way to win the game. So they've shown that they can play both styles of basketball when they're not making shots. They have to come up here. I guess they're having another climate. Is that right? That can't be right. Yeah. So apparently they're having another climate change arena game here on Thursday when Utah Tech comes up to town. So Seattle U will host Utah Tech here on the same floor that I'm at right now, Climate Change Arena. Wait, it's not
Climate Pledge.
Why does it say Climate Change Arena? Yeah, Climate Pledge Arena. Excuse me. It says here on the schedule. I don't know why Utah Tech hasn't updated that. Climate Pledge Arena will host, Seattle U will host Utah Tech. So that'll be a good ball game. And then Utah Tech has to go to Orem on Saturday in the Old Hammer rivalry. Man, we'll see what John Judkin's team is made of, because that's a brutal two road games right there.
Oh, yeah. And then for Rick Croy's bunch at CBU, they got to go to Stephenville to Abilene next week.
Yep.
And there is a possibility of an 0-3 trip.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild WAC schedule. I mean, for some of these teams, ACU, if I remember right, they I have to look up their schedule.
They should be at GCU, and then
their men they're at GCU on Thursday, and then they're home to host CBU on Saturday. These schedules literally make no sense. And if anybody wants to comment on them, I would love to hear your comments.
Well,
why would
that's what Bill Brock was telling us in the summer. Was like, you know, and then the GCU trip, isn't it? Right, where I think ACU was hosting GCU and then had to fly west, or Tarleton had to was at CBU on Thursday.
Yeah, there's some teams that have to do that. It's crazy. I mean, I don't understand it. It's like Utah Valley has to go to UT Arlington on Thursday, and then they come home to host Utah Tech. Like, what are they doing with these schedules? That makes no sense.
Because then that's like you hop on the first flight out of DFW, you're in Orem by noon, you get one maybe very light walkthrough, and then you're playing the Hammer rivalry.
Yeah, it's sad. Logan, how has Seattle been? Have you done anything fun? No, I haven't, to be honest with you. It was kind of a sketch day the whole way around. I don't know if you followed my Twitter. Got on the plane, we were ready to take off on time. And then some crazy lady got on the plane that I don't think she was supposed to, even though she had like a printed boarding pass. So she was supposed to sit in one seat. She chose not to and went to sit in another seat. And then we sat there for about a half an hour while they tried to figure out all the, stuff going on. And eventually they came on about an hour after we were supposed to take off and said that she needed to get off the plane. So I didn't even get into Seattle until about 1:30, maybe a little after that, when I was supposed to get in at 12:30. And then I drove to Climate Pledge. I was going to go to Seattle U's shoot around, and then I couldn't figure my way into the arena. So that got messed up. And then I went straight back to my hotel, got checked in, got changed, went out and had a bite to eat, and then came right back to the arena. So no, Logan, I haven't done anything fun. And I probably won't because I have a 5 o'clock flight tomorrow morning to get home. So,
well, between my issues getting to DFW with the malfunctioning door, and then the ground stop in Vegas, we haven't had one clean trip yet.
Yeah, not yet. Maybe the 23rd when I come to Ontario, we'll see for that ball game. When Utah Valley's down there, play CBU. I don't know if they're kicking us out. If that's what the horn was, okay. They said no. Some arenas are really hardcore about pushing people out. So stay on Grant Foster. No, it wasn't a New Mexico State fan. Speaking of New Mexico State, they beat the crap out of UTEP tonight. I think it was 85-57?
It was the largest victory in the rivalry since the Roosevelt administration.
Good night. Like, I saw that. So, Jason Hoon's team has beat the crap out of some teams recently. So, shout out to my guy. Speaking of which, something of news for WAC Vegas. Adam Young, who is a good friend of mine who broadcasts New Mexico State athletics, he is going to be the broadcaster on all the women's games at WAC Vegas. So,
have they announced who he's paired with?
Not yet, but he told me that tonight. He's excited to be back at WAC Vegas. So he won't be doing the title game, but he'll be doing every game up to that point. So super excited to have Adam Young back. The last time he was at WAC Vegas, we watched the Sam Houston GCU men's game, and then he left, and he didn't get to see Utah Valley completely give away their 23-point lead to Southern Utah, and that was WAC semifinals. Anyways, guys, let's see. Logan, excited to have you out at GCU. Yep, I'll be down there January 30th when Seattle U is down there, actually, for that ESPNU game. That'll be a 9 o'clock Mountain or whatever, 9 o'clock Mountain Time tip-off on ESPNU, nationally broadcast game. I think it's going to be a standalone game, too, so pretty excited about that. It is. No, I didn't get to that restaurant. I'm sorry. And yeah, it is a beautiful arena. It's a good experience, and I think it's even better if it was a Kraken game where this place was full. So yeah, good times. Anyways, guys, we're gonna cut this a little short, but Daryl, I'm gonna ask you right now, who should be the WAC player, WAC newcomer of the week on the women's side?
player, Chloe Lemon, you just can't not give it to somebody who goes off like that in their second game back from a foot injury when they thought they were going to miss the entire year.
Yep.
Newcomer, I think Coy Love wins her fourth in a row.
Yeah, she had a big week. She really did. For UT Arlington, who went 2-0 and they're 3-0 in WAC play now. On the men's side, it's hard. I really think Dom Nelson is going to be either the newcomer or the WAC player of the week after his week, and because they won both games, and then I could see Alexander Moncrief, Matthew Alexander Moncrief winning maybe either. I would say newcomer, just because they only played one game this week with his 23 points, 11 rebounds, and his game winner tonight. And he went 7 of 10 from the field too. So I think those two are going to be in the mix. You could say Noah Gonzalez, or Hakeem Bird from the other night, from their performance on Thursday, but they didn't shoot it as well tonight.
No.
Against Tarleton. Gonzalez finished with 7 points. Hakeem Bird had 14 points. So I think
Bird hit the shot that I think sparked Utah Tech, so that might count for something.
Maybe, but Dom Nelson was just so good, and he went toe-to-toe with GCU and was the playmaker there, and he had 8 rebounds in that game as a guard. So people say, well, you're a Utah Valley by it. Yeah, maybe I am, but they won both games, and he impacted both games with the way he played. So that's significant to me, right? And he had better numbers in both wins combined than Hakeem Bird and Noah Gonzalez did. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see on Monday when they put those out.
Yeah,
around the lunch hour.
We're just throwing it out there. But anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. We're going to cut this short because I'm going to go back to my hotel and go to bed at a decent hour because I got to be up in 5 hours to go to the airport and drop off my car. Daryl, please stay safe, and hopefully the power is on for good now. And, everybody that's tuned in tonight, we appreciate it. It's great to have Chris Victor on. Daryl got to see Chris Victor in our interview. What did you think of what he had to say?
I think he was spot on. I mean, I liked what he had to say about, the winning the close ones and how big it was after you've been in a bunch of those close tussles to come out on the right end of one.
Yeah.
I mean, I can just remember my last year as a high school girls assistant. We were 3-18, and I swear to you, about 15 of those we could have turned the other way.
Yep.
There were like 2-3 score games.
Yeah. I mean, they had a tough loss a couple of weeks ago against Nicholls State at the Red Hawk Center where it ended on a Nicholls State layup with like 2 seconds left. So yeah, it's great to get over the hump. Anyways, everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you we're going to go Thursday night after the Utah Valley game. No, I'm at home Thursday because I'm not on the road that night, and Utah Valley's on the road. So we'll do it at a decent time on Thursday night again, 8:30 Mountain Time, and we'll be back on Thursday.
Thanks for listening to the Straight Outta WAC podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcasting platforms. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Remember to follow WAC Hoops Nation on all your favorite social media platforms.